I think we should just go ahead. We may get some more people popping in here, but Cliff showed up. He's out to get a little bit of water, and Bob's here, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. So, just a few housekeeping things, or notices about club news. Next week would be a mentor session, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to schedule anybody. I had no volunteers from the club to lead a group, so there will be no meeting, no mentor session, no going out and shooting or anything like that. Hopefully, October 30th is the next opportunity we'll have, and I hope that somebody in the club will volunteer. If anybody is willing to, lead a group through town or take people someplace, some location locally, and shoot, we'd really appreciate that. Get in touch with me, please. Our August the 14th, our program is going to be street photography with Jeff Tidwell. And then, of course, our competition next month on the 28th is High Noon. Had a number of tutorials in the July newsletter to help folks maybe get some great images for out in bright sunlight. That high light has nice shadows if you're doing street photography. And going downtown, you can probably get some really nice stuff. And of course, you have to manipulate the light a bit if you're going to do portraits and such, or find the right positioning. But it's still possible, even though, as much as people say, midday sun is a terrible time and you got to go for golden light. And we want to challenge you to break that norm and to actually go and create images in harsh lighting. For any of the people who went down to Lone Tree, did you guys see any signs on the door about them being closed in September and October?
No.
Okay. Because I was on their website looking at the calendar today, looking up something for Gwen, and noticed that they're going to be closed for renovations all of September and October. So I'm going to have to double check on that, but potentially be prepared for all of September and October meetings to be Zoom only. So this evening I had scheduled Jeff Johnson. And unfortunately, we had a bit of a miscommunication, and so I hit up Cliff, and Cliff was nice enough to fill in and judge for us this evening. We appreciate it, Cliff. Thank you for being flexible.
Glad to be able to do it. You can probably, between me and Jeff, you can probably figure out the average score you can increase by about 0.7.
Well, that sounds good. Well, for those of you who are not familiar, Cliff has been a longtime member of Focus. Been a club member for probably 21, 22 years, something like that. He joined in
I joined June of 2003. Yes.
Yeah, I just pulled up your bio here. I'm going to spin through. Cliff has been involved in photography since college and began doing professional work in 2004. He holds 2 advanced degrees from the Professional Photographers of America, Master of Photography, and Photographic Craftsman, as well as the Certified Professionals Photographer designation. While he has interest in many photographic areas, his professional work is portraiture, mostly high school seniors, individuals, families, and corporate headshots. He has attended the PPA Judges School and evaluates images along the guidelines of the 12 elements of a merit image, something which members of the Focus Club should be familiar with. We do talk about that quite a lot, although we don't, rigidly adhere to all of those things, but they are great guidelines if you're not familiar with them already. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that, Cliff, before we get started on this evening?
No, I think we're good. Thanks.
All righty.
Oh yeah, there is one thing I want to mention. Jeff obviously couldn't be here tonight, but I thought I would mention, for those of you who don't know this, the it varies a little bit between the third and the fourth Thursday of the month. This month it is tomorrow. Jeff Johnson and another PPA member, Rick Avalos, they have a show called the Image Critique Show. And even if you don't enter an image, they don't give scores. They just critique images that people send in. And you can send in an image, and they do charge for it. I think it's $10 an image. But you don't have to send an image in, and you might want to tune in tomorrow night. It starts at 6, just like about 6 o'clock. And it's theimagecritiqueshow.com. And you'll learn a lot just by watching them critique other people's images. So I just thought I would mention that. It would be well worth your time. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. Yep, totally agree. And they record either all or most of those sessions too. So they do have them available.
They are.
Yeah. So you can spin through and look at some of the previous ones. They go pretty long. They're like 2 hours or so.
Yeah, it is. That's about 2 hours. That's correct.
But they are absolutely excellent, like you said, and the way that they don't pick apart necessarily, but the way that they are detailed about their critiques and mentioning certain things and processing and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's very educational.
It's very well done. Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like the beer boys have gotten their loggers in hand and they're ready to go. And you're making me jealous, guys. All right, Bob, whenever you're ready, we can proceed. And if everybody else would mute, please, so that we get to hear Cliff, I'd appreciate it. So this is our calibration image. Obviously, Zoom kind of mangles images a little bit. It may desaturate a little bit, make them a little soft. So this is just so you can get a visual. And if you see that this image looks a little off, know that anything else that you're looking at this evening will equally be slightly off. But Cliff does have the images. He got them for review, and anytime during this evening, he will also be able to pull those up, sneak a peek at them if he needs to. Our first image here, this is When the Southern Sun Sets on Shiftman.
When I first opened this, my initial reaction was, oh, well, there's not much here. And then I looked, I said, no, there's a lot here. This is a beautiful image. And the play of the shadows on the building, on the sidewalk, it's really excellent. Just wonderful color harmonies, because you're contrasting the green of the leaves above with the warm tones of the kind of the yellows and the red door below. You've used the branches above to kind of frame the door below, kind of make the tree and the branches above form a really nice frame around it. So this image really grows on me. It's great color, it's great composition, and what a great eye to see this. It's a beautiful, like a warm summer evening. I give this is a 9.
Rust in infrared.
The infrared, it really gives it a cool look, doesn't it? The rust color in it's turned the rust, or the trees, to a rust color. This is really good composition here. It's really a very, very interesting image. I like the way the car is up against that black fence. I think if the car were all in that yellow orangish grass, it wouldn't be nearly as impactful. But with that black fence or the black steel behind it, it really helps the car stand out. So yeah, this is a 9 also. Very well done.
Front range irrigation.
I saw this and I thought, this is a great cover shot. If there's a company in Colorado that does irrigation, you should get a hold of them and offer this as a cover for their annual report. This is a perfect picture for something like that. Again, great use of the color with the blue sky, and then you come down, it kind of gets into the yellows at the horizon. The composition is great, with the bulk of it being over there kind of in the the left third, and the lead, kind of a lead, actually a leading kind of a leading outline with it going. I wonder. I didn't do this, but I wonder if it would be better reversed so that that pole brings you into the picture instead of taking you out. Um, I'm not going to judge it based on that. I'm just wondering if that would improve the picture somewhat. But this is beautifully done. This is a 9 also. Great. It's a great commercial image.
Craggy Cliff.
I am not. I think it was a really good idea to make this black and white um, because it accentuates the texture in those rocks. But it's tough to find a focal point on it. It's a good image, but your eye kind of bounces around trying to look on what you want to really look at. And I realize that in many images like this, the whole thing is the focus, the center of interest. Um, it's a good image, but I think it just lacks impact on this. I'm going to give this an 8.
Missing you.
I wasn't sure what to make of this guy here. The horizon kind of runs right through the middle, which may or may not be a bad thing, but it kind of cuts it in half. And I get the title with the missing with the hole through the tree. I'm just wondering if it's cropped too tight. I mean, it just seems so constrained here, so tight up against that tree. I'd have to give this a 7. It just there's something missing here. 7. This is
Siesta.
I'm sorry, siesta. Yeah, this is very interesting. You look at those webbed feet and you wonder how it's holding onto the branch, and with the head tucked into the feathers. Great composition here with the bird kind of off into the upper left side there, and it's balanced by the branch and the foliage there in the lower right. Great background blur with the kind of that bluish in the background. This is really a lovely image. I'll give this a 10. This is very well done.
Going nowhere.
The maker here kind of pulled the detail out of the image, and this is a compliment. The the maker stopped short of going too far. Sometimes when people try to pull that detail out, your your slider just goes too far to the right. And here there's just enough pulling out of that detail to make it interesting. It's kind of monochromatic, it's all kind of that tan and light green, with the exception of the blue sky. Great composition on this, and the way the car is kind of aimed out the doors are open, but you can tell, like the title says, this is going nowhere. I'll give this a 9. This is well done. It's good. It's a very cool image.
Summoning the contrails.
And I looked at this for a long time, and it is interesting how all the contrails kind of point down toward that building, whatever it is. Yeah, putting looks like the sun was put right behind that building, and I think making it black and white was a good choice. I think in color the color would have kind of overwhelmed it, but making it black and white and keeping that building or that edifice as a silhouette was good. If that building had more detail, I think that would take away from the picture. But the fact that at least on my monitor, it's a silhouette. So it's really a very interesting image. Good use of black and white. Great sky. I give this a 9. Very interesting image.
Badlands Storm Brewing.
This is a 10. Great impact. Just marvelous impact. Looks like a really nice wide lens to get that cloud to look like that. I can't be sure, but that would be the appearance, I would think. Just kind of that monochromatic cloud, that gray, then with the colorful foreground, the rocks, the brown rocks. This is a great image, and you can look at this for a long time and say, man, it's just the detail on the rocks, and then that tremendous storm coming. Yeah, this is definitely a 10. Very well done. This should be hanging on a wall somewhere.
A Sunday stroll in Washington Park.
Yeah, it looks like infrared in Washington Park. Very cool. I looked at this image earlier and I like it, but it would be improved a lot if we got rid of a lot of that top. I mean, I would have cropped this sucker down right about where that knot is on the tree. And because your eye kind of goes up to that tree and there's not much of a reward up there, but you pull that top down and maybe pull the right side in well, no, I'd leave the right side where it is. You got that nice S turn in the walk. I think it would improve this image, because I'm going to give it an 8, but I think if it were cropped differently, it would be a 9. There's just too much above the people that doesn't really add to the image. I'm looking at that, put my hand, pull that down, and it really changes the image a lot. So yeah, it's an 8.
Mount Fairweather. And Bob, after this, let's go look at the 9s and 10s, since we've had a lot of excellent images this evening.
Yeah, you sure have. There's some good stuff. This is an okay image, but it, in my opinion, it lacks impact. It isn't the kind of image I go, oh wow. It is certainly interesting with the sun on the peak up top. The little glacier down at the bottom there is in the shade, all divided by the clouds. Maybe either earlier in the day or later, more of a sunset or sunrise. I'm not sure what, but I'm looking at this and it's just kind of an average image. So this is a 7. I'll give this a 7.
All right, first of our 9s and 10s. This is When the Southern Sun Sets on Schiffman from Nancy Shepard. And I don't believe Nancy is online right now. So she did say that I captured the effects of this sunset on an office building while on an evening stroll in the downtown square. Luckily, my iPhone was in my pocket, readily available for photo ops.
That's amazing, isn't it? How good the iPhone can do.
Exactly, yeah. This is a great image. Rustin Infrared. Oh, it's a car photo. Who do you think it is? It's Dan Greenberg.
What a shock.
Hi, okay, guys. No, but Todd and I and Bill are all here drinking and watching this on a phone. Anyway, thank you very much, Cliff. What that is, it's a 36 Chevy that's down in Guppy. And actually, the building, the thing behind it's not a fence. It's a totally rusted out corrugated building. So if you see it in color, that would be all like, deep reddish browns and all that kind of stuff. And so basically, yeah, that was it. And I photographed that car a bunch of times in color and black and white. I photographed it a bunch of times over the years. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your comments. It was done with an infrared converted camera, by the way, obviously. Anyway, yeah. Thanks.
You bet. Cool. Good image.
Excellent. That was great. Great image. Front Range Irrigation, Jim Meyerson.
Hey, yeah, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play around with flipping it over and see how that looks. I took a couple of different versions of this. Some of them were a little more adventurous, and so I'll play with those as well. But thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, it'd make a great magazine cover, because over to the right is a lot of open space where they can put text. It's really well done.
Thank you.
Siesta. This is from Laura Blake. I thought Laura was on earlier. Unfortunately, she didn't leave any notes about this image. But yeah, Cliff, what you said about the feet there, I had the same thought when I first saw this image. It's like, how is that bird hanging on?
I know. Yeah.
Duct tape.
Very good, David. Thank you.
What was that? I missed that. What was that?
Duct tape. Okay. All right. This going nowhere. This is from Gwen Patton. And I don't think Gwen's on this evening either. And I don't have any notes for her, but I know that she shot a lot of old cars, old buildings over the years. Summoning the Contrails. This is Kyle Derlum.
And I just sat down. I got back home after going all the way to Lone Tree. So this is kind of cool. Cliff, I didn't hear any feedback. I'm happy to see it make this round. So that's a shot that I took in Barcelona last month. So thank you.
Yeah. So, oh, you didn't hear my comments before?
No, I just tuned in, literally like.
Oh, okay. I said it sucked, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Not
No,
exactly.
No, that wasn't. No, I was complimentary.
Thank you. Was it a 9 or a 10?
It was a 9.
It was a 9.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Badlands Storm Brewing. This is Terry Hanford.
Yeah, this was in Badlands National Park in South Dakota. I was there for a few days, and one evening this storm just came in, and boy, those incredible storms come through there at times. So captured it sort of with the sun behind it. So got some sunlight back there, which I thought was really nice, and came out quite well. Was a 14 millimeter lens, so it was quite a wide angle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well done.
That's a great image, Terry.
Thank you.
There we are. Working with my head in the clouds.
This is a great image. You know, the assumption here is this is in an office building. The guy's a window washer, but to capture him like this, he's kind of semi-backlit, you know, with the light around the edges of his legs, the gorgeous sky, the bucket just hanging there, and the soles of his feet. I mean, everything about this works. The color is great. If he had been fully in, you know, if you'd have seen the whole body, the image wouldn't have been anywhere near as good as it is with just his legs and his feet showing. I mean, the only little tiny thing, and you couldn't probably help it. It's too bad we had to cut off his toes there on our right side, but that's a very nitpicky thing. I give this a 10. Great. It's a superb image. Really, really well done.
Loch Awe.
It's really pretty, and the color harmony is outstanding. At the top and bottom, you've got the kind of gold, yellow, orangey. Same at the bottom, and then we've got these different color streaks going through it. The really dark, deep navy blue there in the middle, then the lighter blue. It's really a great graphic piece for color. This would make a stunning metal print. And whoever did this, you should print this and put it on your wall. It's a 10. It's extremely well done. It looks like maybe a little bit of intentional camera movement. I'm not sure how we got the blur here, but it certainly works. How you did it is a material. It's an absolutely beautiful image. And if I could give it an 11, I would. So it's a good, solid 10. Thank you for entering this.
Big sis, let me show you how to splash.
Yeah, I always hate it when we have little kids in pictures, because whoever entered this is probably their kids or their grandkids. So they are invested in this picture. And so whatever I say has nothing to do with these two beautiful children and their worth as human beings. It's almost like you can't criticize grandkids' pictures. That said, a wonderful candid image here with stomping in the water. I wish it hadn't been cropped so tight. A little bit more of the environment would have improved this image. I mean, their heads are right at, in fact, the one young lady there in the back, it's right up against the border. But good color with the blue dresses against the green tree. The action of splashing in the water. I mean, this is a wonderful image. If it weren't cropped so tight, it just kind of squeezes these young ladies. I would have given it a 10, but I'm going to give it a 9. And maybe that's what you had to, maybe this is the full frame. Maybe there wasn't anywhere else you could go, but it's it's just kind of tight around them. So 9.
Bite the apple.
Very cool image. And again, the choice to make this black and white, I think, was a smart one. It's almost a graphic image, really. And that person there in the background actually adds to. At first, I thought, well, what is that person doing? But no, I think it adds to the image, actually, the environment. But great tones here. I mean, you can see the scales on the snake, even in the brightest areas. There is detail, and we've got great tonal range throughout. Some people would think, well, the shadows are all blocked up and they went to black. Yeah, they did. But I think that works in this particular image. Going to full black around it works for me. There's enough detail back there with that young lady and whatever is behind her. But it's really a very interesting image. I'll give this a 10 also. This is very well done.
Totality, DeGraff, Ohio.
Well, it's here's the problem with images like this. I've seen a million of them. Everybody that takes once we have an eclipse, everybody does it. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, another one of those. This is very well done. You got the corona around there just perfectly. But there's nothing here that sets it apart from the other thousands of these that are just like it. But for what it is, it's done well. I'll give it an 8.
Too much civilization.
This is a great image. I mean, the yellow oranges against the blue. I love the kind of dead leaves up there in the corner. I'm not sure whether we're looking down onto trapdoors or, I don't, and it doesn't matter. But as a study in textures and in colors, this is really well done. I'm going to give it a 10. And again, this is one this should be printed. This would make a great print. Everything about it is that the orange and black stripe there isn't quite in the middle, which is good. It doesn't quite bisect the image. It's kind of off to the right a little bit. But I was really enamored with this image when I saw it. It's a definite 10 for me. It's very well done. A great graphic piece. Wonderful use of color.
Lady in Red.
This is interesting, but it's very flat. I mean, this image cries out for directional lighting. All those textures, it's flat. Now, I don't know whether this was outside and you needed sunlight, whether it's in a studio. There's no way to really tell. But the light is just, it's flat. There's no dimension to it. And with all those textures and all those rolls of fabric, man, it really needs it needs the light off to one side to some degree to pull that texture out of there. And her face there's no character to her face. It's just kind of lit, kind of flat. It's an image when you first see it, you go, oh, that's cool. And then the more you look at it, it's okay, but it needs work. I give this a 7.
The Road Less Traveled.
Great image, and I love the car that's down there at the kind of at the bottom of the hill. One little car out there. 2 weeks ago, I drove from Parker out to Buena Vista, and this looks like a lot of that drive. This is another one where we got, in my opinion, too much sky. I mean, you look up there and there's no cloud, there's nothing there. I think if this were cropped down, think about half of that sky away, a little bit more of a pano, that would improve this. A good choice, I think, to go black and white because It's pretty much of a monochromatic scene. The black asphalt and the snow. I'm going to give this an 8. No, I'm not either. I'm going to give it a 9. But I do think it would be improved if you took some of that sky out. So 9.
Just me and my pal.
If that dog were not looking at him, it would not be the image that it is. That look on that dog, I mean, you can just see that dog think, okay, well, throw the damn thing. He's ready to go. This is really a cool image. I wish he hadn't cut the top of his head off, or maybe cut more of it off, but it looks like a mistake. But that aside, that's a minor thing. This is a really great storytelling image. The dog is ready to play. Cute kid. I'll give this a 9 also. Very well done. I love it.
Oops, sorry, I was muted there. This would be Sound of Tranquility.
That was the sound of tranquility, you not speaking.
Yes, it was a sound of silence, actually.
Yeah. Great travel image. And again, this wonderful color, the blues and with the yellow, whatever those are, the things that are burning, an expression on his face. This is something you can see in National Geographic, and it's that good. Yeah, it's not quite a 10, but it's a 9. This is a wonderful image. It's good. 9.
A rainy, muddy day at Cadillac Ranch.
I can't tell by looking at this that it's raining. Can't really tell that it's muddy. I'm sorry, but this just looks like Photoshop run amok. All these colors, you know, I looked at this image and it's hard to make out the individual cars. Everything just kind of, it's in my opinion, this is a mush of color. And this is the case, in my opinion, where the technique overrides the image. And the technique becomes the picture. I'm sorry, but I'll give this a 7.
Cement Factory. And Bob, after this one, again, we'll pop over to the 9s and 10s, since we've seen a lot of excellent images.
The Cement Factory, you know, it's a nice, solid image. It is, the color part of it is great. You got the yellows against the blue. I mean, you know, that's yellow and blue are great together. And we've got that. It's photographed so we don't have the building, you know, tipping away from us. So that's good. But still, it's just a picture of a building. This is an 8. It's a good picture of a building, but it's an 8.
All right, we're going to back to Working with My Head in the Clouds. There we are. And this is from David Besson.
It literally, it's not often that you can take a picture while sitting at your desk and turning 90 degrees, but that's exactly what I did to capture this image. They were scraping the paint off the outside of the apartment building, and this guy was working his way down. And it was just an opportune moment. So there you have it. I appreciate your comments, Cliff. His left foot was actually on the window frame.
Oh, I see now. Yeah, I get it.
So his toes were cut off.
Yeah.
And you know, his right foot, which I thought about sending off to Merrill Shoes, you know.
Yeah.
Might be a good commercial photo, but that was on the glass.
Yeah.
I was also surprised, you know, shooting through glass, it was kind of, I was surprised the details survived as it did.
Yeah.
But, I won't complain.
No, well done.
But thanks for your comments.
It was a great shot and a great opportunity. Lock Awe, this is from Ben Hernandez.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the comments. I very grateful and humbled. I was in Scotland just a couple of weeks ago, and I was trying to push myself to try something new. yes, there's a little bit of ICM. There's a little bit of Orden on post processing. And yeah, this was just another opportunistic shot at 5 o'clock in the morning, just walking to see what I see. So thank you very much.
Well, it paid to get up early then, didn't it?
It certainly did. It certainly
Yeah.
did.
Beautiful image.
Yeah, it's a fantastic image, Ben. It's very good.
Thank you.
Big Sis, let me show you how to splash. This is from Brian Donovan.
Yeah, Cliff, I agree with your comments. It's a little bit tighter than I would have liked. I was shooting one girl, and then the big sister came into the picture also, and I didn't have time to move back.
Yeah.
I was using a fixed focal length, so couldn't zoom out. But yeah, thanks for the comments.
Yeah, it is a cool image though, for sure. This is one that 20 years from now, you can look back on that image and look at those two. Are they your grandkids?
They are my grandkids, and
Yeah.
I kind of thought long and hard about submitting it or not, that I may have been too invested in it, but I kind of liked the story that it told.
Yeah,
About
I agree.
Yeah. But thanks.
It's a wonderful memory and a wonderful image. Bite the Apple. This is from Steve Wilton.
Thanks, Cliff. Yeah, this is from the Erie Farmers Market, which is in the evening. They had entertainment that evening, so all kinds of things happening. I named it Bite the Apple because of the double meaning there. You've got a watch that's maybe an Apple Watch. I don't know if it's a knockoff or not. And then Eve in the background there. She was standing in a booth.
Oh, I got the Apple part. I never thought about Eve back there, but that's very cool. You're right. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks a lot for your comments there. Appreciate
you
it.
bet.
Too Much Civilization. This is from Oz Faninger.
No Oz, huh?
He's on. Oz, can you unmute and give us some info about this image? Oz didn't have any notes on here, but if I can get him back out, we will. But let's go to the next one. The Road Less Traveled. This is from Allie Green. And Allie said this was taken on Route 131 to Steamboat near Toponas. It's a great stretch of road with great views of the flat tops. Just Me and My Pal. This is from Cecilia Zapata.
Hello, everyone. Cliff, thank you for the comments. This was taken in New Mexico. That's actually one of my sister's grandsons, and that's Kiki, one of my niece's dogs. But yeah, it was just a perfect moment to take the picture. And I agree on his head. I was contemplating cropping it a little more on the top, and I didn't. And now I regret it. But thank you.
Yeah, when you clip off like you did, it looks like a mistake. When you crop off more, it looks like it's intentional. So yeah, that would have helped taking off just a little bit more, but it's still a great image one way or the other.
Yeah, and I kind of took it. I had to take I saw him and he was getting ready to throw the ball, so I had to take it real quick. So I did, the top, I didn't crop it at all. It's the bottom that I had to crop, so that was it on the top. So thank you.
Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, it was a nice capture of a moment and a great black and white conversion too.
Mm-hmm.
The Sound of Tranquility. This is from David Benson, not David Besson, who was up in Washington. David Benson. He was a member of Focus Camera Club a number of years ago and rejoined us this year. I don't see him on Zoom, so he did say that this image was taken at the Temple Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Okay, we get back to our normal programming. This is Seaside Tree.
Yeah. It's a cool tree. It's bent like that. That's, the tree is cool. I'm not sure if a different composition would have helped. This is a square composition, which is cool, doing it square. But it does place the thing kind of right smack in the middle. which doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's kind of a static image. The black and white conversion is good. There are really good, really an excellent tonal range throughout the image, but when you get right down to it, it's just kind of a static image of a tree. I have to give this a 7.
Finding beauty in loss.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Certainly, it is a matter of finding image with the butterfly wing, and the drops of water on it. Really, an interesting image. The play of the great colors against just the black and gray, dark gray rocks. So it's really well done, and it's a good eye to have found this on the ground. I assume it's on the ground. This would make a great print also. I'm gonna give this, I have to just give this a 10. It's very well done. The color is outstanding. The composition is dead center, but it works in this particular image, in my opinion. I like this a lot. It looks like I don't know whether the vignette is natural or the vignette was done in Photoshop, doesn't matter, but that really helps to keep the eye in the center there. It gives you that kind of the dark edges, keeps your eye from leaving the image, and it keeps your eye right there on the wing. It's so the whole thing, to capture the image, the processing, it's all very well done. I like it a lot.
Communion.
I wondered about this one, if the choice to go to black and white was the right choice. Obviously, I'm going to judge it as a black and white, but I'm wondering. I mean, looking back, thinking about the previous image with the butterfly wing, how pretty they can be, and we lose that here. And we don't see all of the butterfly. Well, we do see the antenna there. It's interesting. The composition is good. You got a nice base at the bottom there, and it kind of builds up. It's kind of a triangle composition there with the butterfly at the apex, and then it gets wider as you go below. A good background, nice and blurry isolation. I just wonder if black and white was the best way to do this. It's a 7.
I'll hang my hat on that.
Yeah, it's a cute title. It certainly works. And the composition is really good with that tree to the left and the hat to the right. Beautiful sky on the field of flowers. So it's a very pleasant image. So I wonder, was the hat there, or did the photographer put his or her hat there? I wonder. It doesn't matter. This is a nice average image, 8.
Dystopia on the Mediterranean.
See, I know what dystopia means, and I don't get it. I don't understand how, dystopia means, oppression, like a totalitarian thing, the Handmaid's Tale. I don't understand how dystopia works for this. It doesn't work for me. So I'm going to ignore the title because I don't understand it. Interesting image. I would have cropped out almost everything up to that first chair. All that in the beginning, all that foreground doesn't do a thing for me. And let me hold it. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm holding up an envelope now to kind of crop that. It's a much better image if you get rid of that whole foreground, which does nothing. And I'm not sure what I would title it, but dystopia is just confusing. I'm sure this works better in black and white than it might have in color. But we're looking at the backs of their heads. I'm not sure where my eye's supposed to go with this. I'm gonna have to give this a 7. It's not working.
Misty morning in the Baz land.
Now that's the way to make a pano, because quite obviously the sky was boring and in the foreground would have just been more dirt. And You can actually see the curvature of the earth in this one. It's really cool because those goats or sheep on the right, there's no merging. They're all separate individuals. This is a great, say, landscape, farmscape image. Very well done in this pano, and there's a lot to see here. Your eye keeps wandering around, picking out the different sheep, that's going on there. The faded red barn, and this is a 9. Really well done. I think you did a good job with this.
Oil lamp.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to see more here. I mean, this is cropped incredibly tight, as we can see. This might have been a good image if we saw some environment that the oil lamp was in. As it is, it's kind of a documentary picture. There's no lighting to it that helps. And lighting glass can be difficult, but it can also be very interesting. It's just, I mean, I'm going through all of the elements of the image, and I'm not seeing much that fits here. If we saw the environment, there would be maybe some storytelling. The composition is very static. It's cropped really tight. I tried to find reasons to raise the score, but I keep coming up with a 7 on this.
Pull up a chair.
It's a very interesting composition, and I like the color, but it's almost too gritty. I mean, again, it's a case of maybe pulling the detail out almost too much. The really good parts are the balance of color. We've got all the beautiful yellows and reds and oranges over here on the left side, the beautiful red of the wood, and it goes up to the upper right, and everything turns kind of gray and silver. And I like that. It's a nice juxtaposition of the kind of bland gray silver with the riotous colors here on the left. The composition is great with the diagonal of the bar. It brings your eye right into the image and right from the left side and up into the image. It's almost like there's just too much. It's not over sharpened. It's just like the detail is pulled a little bit too gritty. I'd like to go higher, but I'm going to stick with the 8, I think, on this. It's close.
One last wee dram too many.
Very creative here I was going to say a double exposure, but I think it's a triple exposure, I think. Very creative, and there's a lot of movement in this image. I mean, the multiple exposures give this illusion of a very busy bar, a lot of people moving. In all the years that I've been in Focus, and I've been a member of Focus, and I've judged Focus, I've never seen an image like this. This is very creative. It really pulls your eye. I mean, that one young man in the dead center, he's kind of he's nice and sharp. Everything else is this multiple exposure, blurs. This is really well done. I think making it black and white was a very good choice. This is a 10. I can't wait to hear how this was made. This was very well done.
When is Mom coming back?
Okay, cute animals is not fair. It's just, at first I thought, well, was this image rotated? I mean, is it? But then I looked at the catch light in the eyes. I think, no, that's right side up. I think the square format really works here. I think, you might have tried to offset it to put it in the rule of thirds or something, and I think that would have been done. It's kind of forcing it there. I think as a bullseye composition, this one really works. What a great opportunity with that little, I guess it's a leopard with the spots, that little kitten cub sticking its head out. Yeah, this is a 9. This is really well done. Cute as can be. Yeah.
Dancing hat.
Well, it looks, I mean, I don't know that it was. It looks like it was taken at night just because it's so dark behind him. And either a flash was used or that ambient light there. the guy wearing sunglasses, the expression on his face. This is a great image, in my opinion. The fact that we don't see her face at all. She's just kind of her arm kind of makes a frame for him. I'm going to give this a 10. It's unusual. It's very well done. The black and white conversion is outstanding. I don't know what I would do to improve it. It's very well done. I like this a lot.
Shiprock sets sail.
This, the basic image is wonderful. And I like the color, making it all kind of that brown tone or sepia tone, whatever you want to call it. But it looks like the maker tried to use something like the Orton effect on it, something like that. It's kind of like I got the wrong prescription in my glasses when I look at Shiprock. It's just not sharp. And there's so many good things about this image. I mean, the composition is great. That wonderful sky with those clouds like that behind it. The light is great. The low light and the which brings out the detail in the rock. But there's some effect that's been used on it that just kind of takes the detail away. I mean, this could have been a 9 or a 10, but because of that, I'm going to give it an 8. It's just there's just some effect has been applied to this that just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry.
Time travel machine.
I assume they got the title because it's looks like the Fresnel lens from a lighthouse, but it makes a great graphical image. And I love the way it's so bright on the left side, and then as you go across, it gets dimmer and dimmer over to the right side. So great, kind of a gradient of color across that. It's sharp, really. It's you can see the striations in the glass. So yeah, this is very clever. I'll give this an 8.
Exhaust.
This is really good. I don't know what the colors would have been, but going to black and white sure works. And we've got the reflections of these exhausts both behind it there on the side of the car, and then down on what is probably the fender. It's too bad we cut off that left. It would have been nice to see the whole exhaust there on the left side. But I'm going to discount that because the rest of it is so good. I'm going to give this a 10. As a graphic piece, this is just superb. And as a black and white conversion, it's perfect. Again, man, making a print of this needs to be printed some. This should not serve out its life as in ones and zeros. Somebody needs to print this one. It's a 10 for sure.
The equine itch.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't have been better with just the 2 horses there in the foreground. The other horses back there and the landscape behind it, it certainly gives it some context, which your eye kind of goes up there and keeps coming back to the horses. It's certainly interesting that we see them, I guess, yeah, kind of scratching each other. It's an interesting image. I still think it's an 8. It's a solid image, but nothing special.
Sundown and the Sawtooths. And this is the last of our official competition images. We do have 2 critique only after this.
Okay.
And then once we get through the critique onlys, we'll go back and hit the last group of 9s and 10s. Okay.
This is nice. This is a case of where when you put the horizon right smack in the middle, it works because we've got we're looking at the reflection of the mountain, which is very well done. But again, I think it's a nice image. A little more dramatic lighting might have helped. I'm not sure. I mean, there's nothing to really keep my eye interested in this image. It's a pleasant image, but in my opinion, it's an 8.
And this is Wings Over the Ripples.
Is this the one that's just critique only?
This is this and the next one are critique only.
Okay. I don't know why you wouldn't have entered it. this, this is a very interesting treatment of this image like that, to extract it from whatever it was. So to catch looks like a cormorant, I guess, to catch that bird like that, the wing close to the water, with just the reflect, it's not the reflection, well, the reflection, but the shadow also. It's unique. You don't see this very often. It's a great treatment. It certainly is. It certainly is. I think I used the word unique already. Yeah, it is. It's. I would score, if it were in competition, I'd score it relatively high. I'm not going to give it a score for it because it's for critique. If this is the look that you, the maker, are going for, well, you got it. I don't know what's your critique, because if you want the isolation of the bird in a pure white background and just the shadow of the reflection, you did it. The bird is in a great location. The composition is good. You left plenty of room to the right for the bird to fly into, which we always want to do when there's implied motion in it. So yeah, it's very well done. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know what I would do to improve it, because you got the look that you were going for.
This is Blueberry.
Yeah, very clever. Good use of the complementary colors. Yeah, it's a real graphic piece. Again, I don't know what I would do to improve this either. I mean, the composition's good. If you want that strawberry to be blue, well, you got it. So it's kind of a shock when you see that. I'm not sure the word I'm looking for. It's not out of place, but it's not what your eye is expecting to see. But the color between it's kind of a teal blue against the yellow certainly works. The composition works. It's not dead in the center. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool image. I don't know what I would do to improve it.
All right, we'll go back and catch the last group of 9s and 10s. So we're heading back to Finding Beauty in Loss. This is from Joy Lindholm.
Hi, sorry, I had trouble unmuting for a second there. Yeah, this was taken last month in Honolulu at the Foster Botanical Gardens. I was there on a work trip that happened to coincide with Juneteenth, and so I got a day off to go explore a little bit. And it's a wonderful garden, and at any rate, if anybody ever gets a chance to go, it's well worth the $5 entry fee and beyond. But I was walking on one of the paths and stumbled across a couple of monarch wings laying in the rocks, kind of maybe 15 feet apart, and thought it was just a really exquisite and kind of tragic image. So
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, good for you for seeing it. Good, yeah, good.
Thank you.
That's a really nice image. I love those perfectly round drops of water scattered on. Misty morning in the Baaz land. Thank you, Terry, for giving me something to pronounce funnily.
Well, I appreciate that you pronounced it like the locals. And yeah, this was taken on a sheep ranch that a high school friend of mine owns. And I was out early morning, and it was just a mist over everything. And that background is looking out into a valley, but you can't really see any of it. But I just love the subtle colors in it. Just as an appreciation beyond Carl's pronunciation, I'd like to say that I've really enjoyed the images tonight that the members have presented. I think that they, in my view, have been a notch above what we often have. And I want to thank Cliff for stepping in and judging so well. So thanks to all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. One last wee dram too many is from Ben Hernandez.
Well, as I mentioned, I was in Scotland a couple of weeks ago. I was at the Campbelltown Malt Festival, and this is around 4 o'clock. Bear in mind that I had already 2 distillery tours and two tastings, and I just wanted to be able to try to show exactly how I was looking at things at real time when I was at the watch bar back in Singleton. So I figured that I tried it. Funny enough, when I looked at the image in the preview, it looked perfectly sharp. But but yeah, this is I was just trying to play with how I would see things if I was truly in that state. But thank you very much for the comments.
So this is a triple exposure, true?
It is 3 exposures on camera,
Yeah.
and it's using blending method on an RP Canon camera.
Cool. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
It is a very interesting, and like Cliff said, I agree. It's a unique image that we haven't seen in the club. I can't remember ever seeing multiple exposure like this. This is awesome.
Thank you.
When is Mom coming back? It's from Brian Donovan.
Yeah, I took this spring in Botswana, and you're right, Cliff. It is not rotated. That's the way the little cub was looking out of this hole. It's amazing that Mom sticks the cub in the hole in the tree and leaves for hours and hours, and the cub just stays there. And when Mom comes back, she calls it, and it comes climbing down the tree.
Wow. It's probably a good thing Mom didn't come back when you were standing there, right?
No, we were there. We came to this tree several times, and the mom did come back and didn't really care that we were there, and the mom was playing with the cub, and so no, she wasn't worried about us at all.
Oh, cool. All right.
It's excellent. Dancing Hat. This is from Steve Wilton.
Yeah, thanks, Cliff. Yeah, this is from the Erie Farmers Market, the evening farmers market, and I was really attracted by the guy's expression and the ragged hat. Also, the background tree there, I think, rather adds to it with 2 branches there that are very close together, like the couple dancing, and I like that as a juxtaposition. So
Yeah.
appreciate your observations, Cliff. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good of you to catch this. That's a cool image.
Thank you.
Steve, did you use a flash on this?
No, that was a very harsh sunlight from a sunset.
Ah,
And our final one, Exhaust, is from Ernie Kummerer. And he is not on this evening, and I don't have any notes about the image, so I don't know what vehicle this was or where it was or anything. Well, that does it for all our images. And just so you know, the critique images, that first one was Kyle, the Wings Over the Ripples, and the second one, the Blueberry, was from David Besson. So you guys, for those of you who are fairly new to the club, and for you, Matt, also, we offer the ability for people to submit images just for critique. It's a great way to find out if an image is competition worthy, quote unquote, or just to get a judge's feedback on something that you might have tried or experimented with. So I would urge every club member to if you've got an image that you're thinking about that, is it worth it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it what? Can I improve it? Pop it into a competition for a critique, and you get an expert's opinion about it. So
yeah, and I would plug once again. I would plug the Image Critique Show tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on theimagecritiqueshow.com with Jeff
Right.
Johnson and Rick Avalos, because again, watching critiques of other images, you will learn a lot because they go into great detail. So
Exactly.
it would be worth your time.
So in the middle of our competition here, Matt joined us. Matt, do you have a second to where you can unmute and give us a little bit about yourself, how you found us, kind of things you'd like to shoot, and maybe your thoughts on this evening? I'm sorry, we're still not hearing you.
Now.
Oh, there we go.
There we
Perfect.
go. Just had to pick the right one. There's 3 of them there. So yeah, my name's Matt Reed. I am primarily a landscape and weather photographer. Yeah, I like to go out and shoot things like thunderstorms and tornadoes, and landscapes. I occasionally will do something different, but that's, I've been doing photography semi-seriously for about 20 years, and just happened to stumble across you guys on the web, and here I am.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, great to have you, sir. And so you're a storm chaser, basically.
Yes, casual storm chaser.
A casual storm chaser.
Yeah, if I'm somewhere where there's a lot of storm chasers, I'm in the wrong place. I try to find the less crowded areas because I think it's more interesting.
Right.
And you're not fighting traffic and other people for positions for things.
Right. It's like going to popular landscape destinations like Delicate Arch or something like that. And
yeah, and when you go to one of those places, trying to find something that's different about the location.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you could join us here this evening, and I will be sending you an invite to our next meeting, our program presentation next month for photography. So I hope you can join us for it too.
Yeah, some really, really cool images tonight. Some of them quite inspiring. So good job.
Before we sign off, I wanted to say that, as Carl mentioned, I've been a member of Focus for like 21 years now, whatever. And I've probably judged at every camera club in the Denver area. Focus, no club has the consistent good images that Focus has. I can state that without a doubt. That is true. And I've judged a bunch of them. Yeah, you have individuals who do really great work elsewhere, but in terms of the body of work on a given night, the people at Focus are orders of magnitude better than other clubs, really.
Yeah. So awesome. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Cliff. I think that for those of us who have been around for decades in the club, we would echo that sentiment. Definitely. I'm always amazed at the quality of the images that we get. Even with challenging topics. Not just an open competition, but the other stuff we throw at people, and they're more than willing to jump out there and go try something new. So that's the name of the game, man. Before we cut out of here, just one other thing I wanted to mention was I got an email today. I know that there are a couple people in the club who are Fuji shooters, so you may have seen this already. FujiXweekly.com is a website that we Fuji shooters go to get what they call recipes. Basically, it's a setup in your camera. A lot of Nikons and Canons have a similar thing where you can set profile that with this much saturation or plus or minus for the coloring and everything. But FujiXweekly.com, the guy who runs that, is going to do a photo shoot in Denver, August 3rd, a Saturday. He just announced it today. He's still working out the details. From what I read, there's going to be another photographer involved. I don't know who. He's being supported by a local camera store. So that may be Englewood, that may be Mike's, I'm not positive. And it's also being supported by Fuji. And from what he said in that blog post, it sounds like you'll be able to, touch and feel some of the Fuji equipment. Maybe a Fuji rep will be there. I don't know. The time and place hasn't been announced yet. He just wanted to get this information out. And even if you're not a Fuji shooters, I mean, this would be a nice opportunity to go out and shoot somewhere in Denver and, see somebody else's perspective and stuff like that. So I just want to pass that information on.
Hey, Carl.
Yes.
Hey, I wanted a quick mention. I just talked to Jeff Tidwell today. He's the guy that's doing the street photography presentation on August 14th. He's going to be at Lone Tree in person. And I know it's kind of fun when we have presenters in person in case, you feel more comfortable asking questions or whatever. But I expect his presentation to be pretty cool. And if you want to be there to talk to him afterwards, highly recommend you guys showing up.
Excellent. Thank you for that information. And I will double check with Lone Tree and make sure that they're not double booked for that day.
Probably a good idea.
so hopefully, and thank you everyone who was flexible this evening. And I know a few of you actually drove down to Lone Tree, were turned away, unfortunately. And for those of you who went to the brewery, had a good time. Apparently, I don't see them on here now anymore, but they must be they must be going and looking at that sunset.
Or one,
all right.
One wee stein too many.
Sorry?
One wee stein too many.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they're all seeing Ben's image now. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being with us this evening. I hope you got a lot out of it. Thank you, Cliff, for judging for us this evening.
Sure.
And we'll see everybody at the 14th for like I said, Jeff Tidwell's street photography. It'll be a great program. So thank you all. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.